FJN is here, ladies and gentlemen. You see it on approach to the hangar. How about a big bullet to the island of Ovalau?
It gives me much pleasure to be here this morning to welcome this aircraft, the new 737. As the chairman has highlighted, it obviously positions Fiji Airways in a lot better posturing in terms of being able to increase the frequency of flights to new destinations, including Wellington, and of course increase frequency to new current destinations, but increase the frequency to be able to better position Fiji Airways. I think, apart from sort of talking about all of that aspect, what I would like to probably talk about is how Fiji at the moment is currently positioned in a very good place. And we, all of us as stakeholders, including the staff of Fiji Airways, the management, the various stakeholders, including AFL and ATS, who currently is not in the good books of Fiji Airways, and various other stakeholders, need to all collaborate to ensure that we take advantage of where we are at the moment. The economy is growing at a very good rate, but it can improve even better. And the way to take us forward includes all of us working together with a vision for the future. And this is why the arrival of this new aircraft, including the one that's coming in December, will obviously help us to increase our frequencies, but also go to new destinations, the chairman said. We all obviously have our favorite destinations to go to, but I think what is very critical is that Fiji Airways is able to go to new destinations where there's opportunity to hub, there's opportunity to open up new markets. The reality is that with the arrival of the new aircraft and the frequency being increased, it also sustains jobs. It creates new jobs. Because if you're going to have more flying to existing routes, new routes, it means there's more crew time required. It means there's a requirement for more crew to come on board. It means there's a requirement for more engineers. It means that the engineers actually have more work to do. It means catering. It has an enormous multiplier effect and spillover effect. So it is therefore very critical that Fiji Airways as an institution remains a commercially viable proposition. It must be commercially viable. It must have a CEO, a managing director, that is more focused on ensuring the financial and commercial viability and indeed sustainability of the company. Tourism now contributes about 35% towards our GDP. Most of the tourists who come to Fiji come in these things. They come on aircraft. About 70% approximately of those tourists who arrive by aircraft into Fiji come on Fiji Airways. You obviously as an institution would want to increase your percentage of that. We obviously want you to have a very good stronghold in terms of the percentage of arrivals by aircraft, because you are the national carrier. If you look at carriers around the world where they have opened up the markets and national carriers in fact have been swept away to the side, our ability to retain the tourism dollar in Fiji becomes a lot more limited. So we have to be able to think about this. The Fiji Airways crew that may be loading cargo, that may be serving the customers on the plane, the engineers, the people at the counters, all of you need to be able to understand that it is very, very critical to ensure that viability, that commercial viability of the company. So we have to collaborate. Now, one of the reasons I'm also talking about this is that we in Fiji tend to sometimes let go of the professionalism. If things are going well, we said, okay, let's hire that person, not based on merit. Let's hire that person because he or she is my relative. We have to let go of that, because we have all times have to maintain that level of professionalism. If we do that, then the aircraft will always remain, the company will always remain a premium company. It will also mean we will be able to access more new aircraft. If we're able to access more new aircraft, it means sustainability of jobs and creation of new jobs. It is a very basic issue But I wanted to highlight that to you, ladies and gentlemen. It's very, very important. You may have heard that in Parliament on Friday, we put in place the amendment to the Employment Relations Promulgation, a bill for the amendment to the Employment Relations Promulgation. We've put in place a number of amendments that will help us comply with the ILO core conventions, but it also charts a way forward in respect for companies like yourselves, where we are now going to open up the ability of staff to directly join unions if they want to, but they also have the option to continue with their bargaining units. We also now, with all the essential industries, allowing a fast tracking of your ability to negotiate collective agreements through a tribunal, through a collective bargaining tribunal, as we had in Fiji before the 1987 coups, an arbitration tribunal, which will fast track issues, as they have in Singapore. So I'd like the staff to all understand that whilst the opportunity is now being opened up, you must always remain focused on the fact that we must not only think only about today, we must not only think about only tomorrow, we have to think about the future. Because all airlines in the world that have done well, like Singapore and various other airlines, they've always had a vision and a focus on the future. Every single staff member, if you talk to Singapore Airlines, they're extremely patriotic to not just their company, but obviously to the country. And they realize that we need to have collaboration to be able to ensure the sustainability of the aircraft. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to congratulate the chairman and the board, and of course the management and the staff for being able to facilitate the provision of this new aircraft, for being able to facilitate the arrival of another A330-300. The accident that took place a few weeks ago goes to also show to you the vulnerability of the aircraft, of the company, goes to show the vulnerability of the company. By one such accident, your entire schedule can go out of place. In fact, yesterday I received a text message from somebody who was complaining about their family members being held up in Radisson and saying there wasn't enough communication and when will the flight go, etc. It caused reputational damage, enormous reputational damage. So next time somebody will say, well, let's not fly with them, let's fly with Air New Zealand, or let's fly with Virgin, because you know these guys are a bit slack, or they don't have a spare aircraft. So these reputational issues also, we need to understand that. We also need to understand the vulnerability of the company and how all of us, whether you're a minister, whether you're chairman of the board, whether you're director, whether you're an engineer, whether you're somebody serving at the counter, need to all understand and collaborate to ensure that these kind of vulnerabilities aren't exposed. Of course, we want other stakeholders like AFL, we need ATS and various other stakeholders, and indeed the tourism stakeholders, to be able to also ensure that they work together with us. Because I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, at the moment, we're in a very good space. We have a number of multilateral agencies and multilateral organizations wanting to work together with Fiji, wanting to offer funds to ensure that we build up the infrastructure. You see these roads that's being built up in the front. Why are we doing this? It's not just for it looks good. As I've said on numerous occasions, we as a tourism destination are also competing with Bali, Phuket, even now Solomon Islands and Vanuatu. If a Sydney-sider can jump on a plane in one of these at 6:30 a.m. in the morning and is able to come to Fiji, clear customs immigration, get on a 4-lane road, and be drinking his beer or pina colada or her pina colada on the beach by 11:30 a.m. or midday, we are a great destination, as opposed to having to fly 8 hours to some other destination. These are the things we all need to understand. So we're in a very good space. We need to be able to focus on the future. We need to be able to bring more aircraft, create more jobs, and we need to work as a team. That's the only message I can have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. It is very, very critical to understand that. I would like to thank, as I said, the chairman and the board. I'd like to also thank all the staff. You all are very critical players in all of this to ensure that we have sustainability of the company and ensure that in the future we do a lot better. Thank you.